Last Friday, you threw a retirement party for Dave. Now, Dave has been your lead maintenance supervisor for 32 awesome years. He knows every quirk of the assembly line. He knows why the hydraulic press hums differently on humid days. You shook his hand, gave him the gold watch, and wished him well. This morning, the press stopped, and the only person who knows how to fix it without a 3-week parts delay is currently fishing in Florida. This is not a staffing issue, it's an architectural failure. You are suffering from institutional amnesia. And in the next 8 minutes or so, I'm going to show you how to use AI not to replace your people, but to build an institutional brain that ensures when your experts leave, their wisdom stays behind. Hi, I'm Robert Dempsey. I work with organizations to navigate the technical uncertainty of the AI age. In manufacturing, we are facing a silver tsunami. A massive generation of experts is retiring, and they are taking decades of problem-solving context right out the door with them. Now, most executives I talk to think the solution is better documentation. They say, we need more standard operating procedures. We need to update the wiki. But documentation is static. Expertise is dynamic. Today, we are going to look at the architecture of knowledge preservation. We'll cover a few things here. First, the difference between what your employees say they know and what they actually know. Second, how to build an AI-driven institutional brain that acts as a vault for this expertise. And finally, a practical knowledge audit you can run this week to identify your biggest risks. If you want to stop bleeding your most valuable asset, knowledge, stick around. Now, to solve this, we have to understand why your current SOPs are failing. It comes down to 2 types of knowledge. Explicit knowledge is easy. It's the user manual. It's the spreadsheet. It's the if this, then that logic. Now, we are very good at capturing this, but 80% of the value in your company is actually tacit knowledge. This is the feel, it's the intuition, it's the judgment call. Let's go back to Dave for a minute. If you ask Dave to write down how he fixes the machine, he might write something like check pressure valve, reset sensor. But what he actually does is walk past the machine, hear a slight rattle, realize the mounting bolt is loose, tighten it by hand, not too tight, just enough, and then reset the sensor. He doesn't write down the rattle or the tightness because to him, it's obvious, it's muscle memory. Now, when Dave leaves, you still have the manual, but you've lost all of the context. You've lost all of Dave's judgment. For years, this problem was unsolvable. You couldn't digitize intuition. You couldn't put experience into a database. But this is where the architecture of AI has fundamentally changed the game. We can now build what I call an institutional brain. This isn't about training a massive large language model on the entire internet. It's about creating a closed, secure system that retrieves your company's specific historical data to answer new questions. Now, technically, we often call this RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. But let's look at it functionally. Now imagine if for the last 5 years, every time Dave fixed a problem, he didn't just fill out a form. He spoke into his phone for about 30 seconds explaining why he did what he did. It might go something like this. Fix the pressure valve again. It tends to stick when the ambient temperature drops below 60 degrees. I had to bypass the primary seal to get it to release. Now, fast forward to today. The new technician is standing in front of the broken machine. Instead of reading a generic manual, the technician asks the institutional brain, why is the valve sticking? The AI instantly scans thousands of logs, emails, and those transcribed voice notes. It comes back and says, in 2019, 2021, and 2023, this issue occurred during cold snaps. Dave noted that bypassing the primary seal releases the pressure. Do you see the difference? The AI isn't thinking for you. It's functioning as a dynamic librarian. It's surfacing the context that would have otherwise been lost. This preserves what I call the human boundary. The AI provides the historical context, but your human operator still makes the final decision. It empowers your junior staff with the collective wisdom of your senior staff. So you might be asking, how do you build this? Well, you don't start by buying expensive software. You start with a knowledge audit. Most AI failures that I've seen are not technical. They are architectural. If you try and capture everything, if you try and boil the ocean, you will capture nothing. You need to exercise restraint and focus on high-value targets. Here's your 3-step plan. Step 1, identify your single points of failure. Look at your org chart. Who, if they won the lottery tomorrow and quit, would cause your operations to grind to a halt. That is your target. Step 2, the exit interview is way too late. Don't wait until they retire. Start interviewing them now. Equip them with voice-to-text tools. Ask them to narrate their troubleshooting process for just one difficult problem a week. Get that unstructured data into a digital format. Step 3, centralize the unstructured data. Now, you likely have maintenance logs in one system, emails in another, and Slack messages in a third. To build an institutional brain, you need to architect a data layer where the AI agent can read across these silos. This is about moving from tribal knowledge, where it lives in people's heads, to institutional wisdom, where it lives in the architecture. The goal of AI in manufacturing isn't just automation, it's preservation. It's about ensuring that the expertise you've paid for over the last 30 years doesn't just walk out the door. It's about giving your new hires the confidence to make decisions because they have the backing of the organization's entire history. This concept, knowing when to trust the data and when to rely on that all-important human judgment, is central to my book, The AI Decision Advantage. In the book, I follow the journey of a leader named John, who learns that in a world of technical urgency, the greatest strategic advantage is actually restraint and architectural thinking. If you want to dive deeper into how to structure your organization for this kind of resilience, check the link in the description to pick up a copy. Don't let your company's brains retire. Start building your archive today. Thanks for watching.